Edward VIII, the king who chose love over the throne. Edward VIII, whose full name was Edward Albert Christian George Andrew Patrick David, was a monarch whose brief and tumultuous reign lasted from January 20th to December 11th, 1936. He is best known for his decision to abdicate the throne, a choice motivated by his desire to marry Wallis Simpson, an American divorcee. Edward VIII's abdication was a historic and unprecedented event that had a profound impact on the British monarchy. Born on June 23, 1894, Edward was the eldest son of King George V and Queen Mary. From a young age, he received a traditional royal education, which included military training and exposure to state affairs. However, his life took an unexpected turn when his father ascended to the throne in 1910, making Edward the heir apparent. Edward's youth and early adulthood were marked by his charismatic and social nature. He gained a reputation for being a popular and charming prince, and he was known for his interests in sports, fashion, and the arts. In 1911, he embarked on a royal tour of the British Empire, which contributed to his popularity. When World War I erupted, Edward expressed a desire to serve in the armed forces. Despite the risks associated with royal service, he was commissioned as an officer in the British Army. His military service included time on the Western Front, where he witnessed the horrors of war. Upon the death of his father in 1936, Edward ascended to the throne as King Edward VIII. However, his reign would be one of the shortest in British history, as he was faced with a constitutional crisis. Edward's relationship with Wallis Simpson, an American socialite who had been divorced twice, caused a significant controversy. The Church of England, of which the monarch is the supreme governor, did not permit the marriage of a divorced person if their former spouse was still alive. Edward's intention to marry Wallis Simpson, who was in the process of divorcing her second husband, was met with opposition from the government, the church, and the public. The crisis came to a head when, in a radio broadcast, Edward announced his intention to marry Wallis, stating, "I have found it impossible to carry the heavy burden of responsibility and to discharge my duties as king as I would wish to do without the help and support of the woman I love." His choice was ultimately between the throne and the woman he loved, and he chose the latter. On December 11, 1936, Edward VIII formally abdicated the throne in favor of his younger brother, who became King George VI. In a historic act, Edward became the first British monarch to voluntarily renounce the throne. He was granted the title of Duke of Windsor, and he married Wallis Simpson in a private ceremony in France. Edward and Wallis spent much of their lives in exile, residing in various countries, including France and the United States. Although the Duke of Windsor remained a controversial figure, he and Wallis lived a life outside the royal spotlight. Edward VIII passed away on May 28, 1972, in Paris. He left behind a legacy defined by his abdication and the unconventional path he chose for love. His decision to prioritize personal happiness over the throne had a profound impact on the British monarchy and raised questions about the role and responsibilities of the royal family. Edward VIII's life and choices are a reminder of the complex interplay between personal desires and royal duties. His story continues to captivate the public's imagination, offering a glimpse into the challenges and sacrifices faced by those who find themselves at the center of historical events. The end. Please subscribe my YouTube channel Teddy's Best Story Time. See you next time.